If you want to know what a $1,600 car payment sounds like, here it is. Honestly, it's insane how budgeting, saving, and investing helped my dream car become a tangible reality for me. Even though I've wanted this car for going on 2 years, I couldn't just buy it. I had to make sure I had a certain amount of money budgeted for this car every single month so that I could put a down payment, so I can make sure that when I get paid from my job, I have enough to pay for rent, groceries, utilities, all that.
What the heck? Let's see. I don't think it's going to expand big enough for me to really see his personal budget, but I just want to try. Yeah, I can't really tell anything from there. It's worth a shot, though. I like to see the numbers.
To pay for rent, groceries, utilities, all that, and that big car payment, because I will say it is big. Letting my investment seat first, having a strict budget, and saving what's left made it much easier to buy this car because I had a game plan to make sure I could do it without putting myself in a bad situation. Don't underestimate yourself. If you have a financial goal you want to hit, saving, investing, and budgeting are going to be your three best friends to hitting it. And if you need help with any of that,
All right.
The caption says, I pay pretty much $8,000 in car notes. Pretty much $8,000 just in cars. Wow.
All right. So the black one, I pay $3,100 a month. The gray one, I pay $2,900 a month, so a total of $6,000 for these two. The car that is in Houston with my brother, which is the Cadillac Vistic, which I'll put in here. I pay $1,700 a month to get both of my car to wash every 2 weeks, $120. So total of $240 a month. Insurance is about $1,100 every 6 months for both of these cars, but for all three is $3,400 every 6 months, which is not bad. So total, I pay $7,800 worth of car notes. Every 6 months, I pay $3,500 for insurance and $240 a month for car washes. What do you think? Is that too much to pay for
Dang.
three luxury cars? Put it down in the comment below.
I said dang because that's actually what I was excited about looking at. I was excited about looking at her comments, but she done turned it off. So I guess people were really going ham in her comments about her decisions. I feel like obviously to have that type of expendable income, you must have a business. So, and she may really like cars and driving and stuff. Because if you remember, she had a very modest home, a very modest little 1-story home. So some people, they'll want to get a big old mansion compound. What it seems like she values cars. But here's the thing. Here's the problematic thing about it. And it may not be problematic for her in particular. But see, even if someone did buy a mansion, typically homes are appreciating assets. Appreciating assets. Whereas vehicles are depreciating assets. And the main thing that we have to focus on here, but real quick, y'all, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And it's really just a click. Really just a click. So if you're here anyway, you might as well click that like button. And also if you can hype the video as well. But the main thing we have to focus on here before we move on to the next clip is the fact that, okay, clearly you have a lot of disposable income, but she said car payments. She said what her car payments were every month. If you got so much money, why not just buy your cars outright? Because when you start getting into these high figures for vehicles, that means that you're paying an astronomical amount of interest. And so really think about that. If your Cadillac is $120,000, what are you going to pay another $80,000 in interest when it's all said and done and pay $200,000 for a $120,000 car? You see what I'm saying? So I don't know how things make sense. I'm sure she has a CPA or something that's making sense of it. And maybe from a tax standpoint, it does make sense. But without the context, this just seems extremely exorbitant and unnecessary. Again, y'all, if you could like the video, only takes a second.
I have a $1,200 car payment, and I would do it again and again and again and again. You're only on this planet once. While it's important you do smart things with your money, it's also important for you to enjoy yourself. You're paying a mortgage on your car. I don't care. I'm interested in cars, and I have a twin-turbo V8 in my 20s. In life, you have to make calculated decisions. It's a give and take. It's a push and pull. So where I may overspend on my car, I underspend in other critical areas of my life. Like I barely buy myself new clothes, don't drink any alcohol, I definitely don't smoke any of that good stuff. So I may be $50,000 in debt, but it's my life. I have a $1,200 car payment, and I would do it again.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you really value, since we didn't get to look at that other woman's comments, let's check his comments out really quick. Somebody just put a picture of Dave Ramsey just with his arms folded, looking disgusted. That's funny. Someone said, I don't see what the issue is. If you can afford $1,200 comfortably, nothing wrong with that. People got to realize everybody's not broke. Everybody's not broke, but again, I don't know what he does, but I don't really think that the way taxes are structured in America is designed for you to really go very crazy with your net income, because he said he's young. So how much investments could you have? And the beauty about investments is it really takes time. And so if you're in your 20s, you haven't had time to be able to have it to where your investments or your employees to where it could be paying for some of the extracurricular things that you want. So I really just say that to say, I'm assuming you're paying for this with your income, your active income. And again, the way that taxes are designed, I don't know if it's a smart thing to do to be so frivolous with your net income like this, because you have to pay for this with after-tax dollars. And so, sure, you don't do the other things, but I feel like in your 20s, man, you should be building up, because there's going to be a lot of life to live. And let me tell you something. It can get real sweet if you do the right things. And let's say if you were able to get a $200 car, imagine if he started in his 20s investing $1,000 a month and letting that compound and do a lot of heavy lifting, where he could be at when he gets in his mid 30s, whatever. So that's just my opinion, my personal opinion. But if he likes what he likes and it drives him to incentivize him to do more and figure it out, then I respect the way that he chooses to live his life as well.
The new average car payment in America just hit another all-time high, and your credit score is the exact reason why you might be paying a higher payment than someone else. I'm Jose Rodriguez, also known as the Credit Dude, and I own Got Credit, and for the last 16 years, I've been helping consumers understand the true power of what their credit score can bring, or what they can be paying extra if they don't protect their credit. So according to Fox Business, the average car payment on a new auto loan is about $770 a month, which is the highest it's ever been. And then also for used cars, it's also about $530. This is one of the main exact reasons why people are having an affordability problem, because they're shopping and they're buying with a low credit score, which is putting them in a position to not be able to afford anything else because they're struggling just to make their car payments. So having a lower credit score is going to impact you in many ways, because even though you're approved for certain things with a low credit score, if you had a higher credit score, it will get you better terms, better financing, and not help you with paying such a high interest. And I see this happen all the time.
Speaking of interest, I mean, you told us what the average car payment was for newer cars and used cars. He said for newer cars, it's almost $800, the average payment for Americans. And then also for used cars, the average car payment, I believe he said, was about $550. What's the average interest rate, though? Since we're getting into the credit piece, that's what I would be interested to know.
Paying such a high interest. And I see this happen all the time, but people shop based on what they think they can afford every single month rather than looking at the long-term amount of whatever it is they're financing, and in this situation, a car. Because you can have the same exact car driving down the highway, and based on somebody's credit score, the person with the lower credit score is going to be paying thousands of dollars more compared to the person with good credit. So remember, fixing your credit isn't just a short-term solution, it's a long-term assistance with you getting better credit and better financing. So just remember, guys, remember that before you step into the dealership and before you even get a new or used car, that your credit score is as high as possible. One of the things I always recommend is pay down as much credit card you can. So if you're going to walk into the dealership putting down $5,000 or $10,000, instead knock out $5,000 or $10,000 worth of credit card debt and walk into that dealership with a higher credit score, and you probably won't even have to put anything down, and you'll be paying less for that car.
Somebody left a comment in his comment section. She says she has a 17% interest rate. A 17% interest rate on her vehicle. And she says she had to let her car go today. They had to let their vehicle go. 17%. Wow. On a liability.
Boom,
a high,
boom.
expensive liability.
So today she came in.
It says she has a 492 credit score, and she got approved for 0 down in 60 days before her first payment. Again, so we see they're going to hit her over the head for that interest on this little Hyundai. So the Hyundai might be like 18 grand. She going to end up paying 50 grand when it's all said and done with that credit score.
Her credit score was around 400, and usually I ask for 580 plus, and we was able to get her done. She said it was the fastest process that she done ever been through. Let them know your experience today.
It was a great experience. I wasn't here for 7 hours and 7 days.
Talk to him. Listen, y'all, it's gonna be a quick process. At this point, bring me any credit score. I know the bank that I need to work with in order to get y'all approved. And for all my 580 plus credit scores, we still have 0 down, and I can get your first 60 days free. Same as I did her. Did I get any money out your pocket today?
No.
Not at all. 0 down.
Cooked.
After owning my 2025 Honda Civic Si for over a year now, something I keep asking myself is, would I buy this car again? And short answer to that is yes, but no. Don't get me wrong, this car looks amazing, drives amazing, super fun, super reliable, gets amazing gas mileage, and is a great all-around car that I'm super grateful to have. But having a high car payment and high insurance just for a Civic in this state of this economy is not something I would recommend. So with that being said, would I buy a 2025 Honda Civic Si again? Absolutely. Would I finance one? Probably not. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is having high insurance and a car...
It's probably going to have to cut this out. You got the music playing.
So guys, today I bought a new...
The caption says a woman is celebrating buying a new car, $4,000 down, $1,000 per month, and his head is blocking the interest rate. Dude, but she got the interest rate for 90 months. He gonna have his head blocking the interest rate. You better say what the interest rate is. That's what I'm always curious to see.
Today I bought a new car. I put $4,000 down, $1,000 a month payments, 15% interest rate for 90 months.
15%, okay.
I really don't understand why she's smiling. That's one of the worst financial decisions that anyone could do. Listen, guys, a car is just a car. We really need to stop normalizing these crazy ass car payments. Putting $4,000 down to pay $1,000 a month for 90 months on 15% interest, that is stupid upon stupid.
The whole time I've been watching this stuff, that's what I was thinking too. Because when things start to get so complex and just such an inconvenience for your life, I like to simplify. And he simplified it in a way that I was thinking, but I didn't know if I was going to say it. But since he said it, let's address it. Ultimately, people are taking out these type of, or I guess we should put it this way. People have somehow been socially engineered and, dare I say, brainwashed to see more value in something than it really has, and then to set up and structure their life and basically make themselves slaves to have to try to keep up and pay payments on something that's not necessarily worth what you're paying for it. Really think about that. What is a car for? Just to be able to transport you to point A to point B. Can you still find something pretty comfortable and not pay a crazy amount? Maybe pay 30 grand for it and it's still comfortable, it's still nice, it's still new? Yes. But for the small extra tweaks, right? People will pay 200% more for 5% more comfort. And that's the only thing extra that they're getting. It may be really just a brand. You're really just playing for the brand. Think about it. Think about how people will run themselves ragged just to be able to have that Mercedes emblem on the car because of what it's going to symbolize when people see it. Even to the point where people will get an older model Mercedes just because they care so much about that emblem and what it represents. And then meanwhile, you could have got a significantly cheaper yet newer car that still would have been more comfortable and probably better quality and lasted you longer and just been better value in totality. And so this is the cognitive dissonance, and this is the social constructs and engineering that has worked its way into us. And then we continue to reinforce on others by having the expectations that they then need to meet in order to basically, get our approval. And it's crazy. And it's crazy how it'll cause us to put ourselves in these crazy circumstances to where we have to work just to be able to maintain a car. And again, I believe it's been socially engineered. It's not real. But we're making real decisions that's going to have real long-term consequences on our financial futures.
Yeah, I mean, what, you're paying $1,200 a month?
The caption says Kia Forte, $820 a month, 29% interest, $450 a month insurance, 29% interest. I got to see this.
Yeah, I mean, what, you're paying $1,200 a month for a 2024 Kia Forte at 29%? That's hefty.
Yeah,
So,
it is, but oh,
hey, how are you? This is Yusuf, Legacy Motor Cars.
hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. My phone calls, I just came back from Florida, so it's been a lot of backlog of getting back these messages. So, all right. So you got into a bad deal, unfortunately, in August of 2024. You bought a 2024 Kia Forte. APR is about 29%.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Your payments are $819 a month. You owe $25,000. You want us to buy it? Is that what you want us to do?
The purchase was pretty new, so I know like it's probably not possible, but like whatever wherever you feel is best, I'll
Right.
say.
How much is your insurance a month?
So my insurance a month is like $450.
$450 a month?
Mhm.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked that is everybody who buys a car or currently has a car should account for insurance being part of an expense for the vehicle. And
Right.
since the Kia Fortes, I don't know if you remember the Kia Boys. I'm pretty sure the 2024. Do you have the turn key or do you have the push start?
The turnkey.
Got you. So the reason why the insurance is so expensive is because they're
Yeah,
easily stolen. So that's why insurance companies, and I even know insurance companies now that don't even insure them anymore. So it's really hard to sell them.
Wow. Some insurance companies don't even insure them anymore. And insurance is super expensive. If you all aren't familiar with what he's referring to about the Kia Boys, so basically these Japanese cars or whatever cars that they build, man, it's very easy people were hacking the cars or just being able to hotwire the cars using like an Android charger. And so there was a lot of young kids that were breaking into a lot of Kias because they were able to basically steal it using the Kia method. And they were seeing the method, how to do it step by step, right here on that platform, TikTok. TikTok was breaking it down and showing how to basically hotwire a Kia, and I think Hyundai's as well, since that's also an Asian made car. And so what that has had is implications on insurance, of course, because it was common and actually it was going viral as something that everyone was doing, right? It was like a challenge. You remember when TikTok used to always have them challenges? Man, I remember they had the slap a teacher challenge. Them challenges was getting out of control. I'm glad they stopped because it was getting crazy. It was going to keep getting so crazy. Man, they probably would have had a drop the soap challenge, man. You just walking down the street, you drop something, somebody come behind you, ram you from behind, literally and figuratively. You know, these challenges was getting crazy. So I'm glad I really haven't seen anything about these challenges anymore. But yeah, I think they were having challenges with it. And so now insurance is crazy. If you already bought a Kia or whatever, you're just kind of ish out of luck. And some insurance companies aren't even insuring them anymore. So that's a little data point. If you're not familiar already, probably don't want to get a Kia, or you probably want to do some in-depth research before you move forward, just to make sure that they solve that problem.
Because they'll be
Yeah,
easily stolen. So that's why insurance companies, and I even know insurance companies now that don't even insure them anymore. So it's really hard to sell them. So a lot of dealerships aren't buying them per se. What's your credit score?
So my credit score is about 550. Like I've been working on establishing it because I didn't really know much about
He's
credit
like, I can't do
until
nothing, man.
recently, so I didn't necessarily have the best score when I went to inquire about the car. So getting the car kind of taught me better ways to.
He's like, man, I can't help you whatsoever. Like, it just gets worse and worse. Sidebar too. I mean, I didn't really keep up with Kia stock, but I'm sure their stock had to have plummeted when all that stuff was going on with the Kia boys.
Build my credit.
Gotcha. I mean, unfortunately, with a 550 or 500 credit score, there's no option for you. I mean, why is it so low? Do you have late payments? Did you have another repo? What's going on?
No, actually. I think I've always been on time with my payments. I think
That's
I
a
honestly
lie.
have no idea why it's so low.
Who's the bank?
Global lending, sir.
I mean, unfortunately, there is really nothing you can do.
I make about 32 a month, something like that.
So you see how this car, I mean, obviously you know, but it's more than a third of your income is going to this car. So I'm sure it's
Right, yeah.
weighing down on you a lot. There's just no way for you out the vehicle. One, you have some negative equity, not that much since it's brand new. How many miles are on the car?
A little under 10,000.
All right, so number one, that. Two, you have a really high interest payment, and since you're leveraged up so much, like at $800, I would recommend you paying $300-400 extra a month towards the principal so you can pay it down. But you said that you only make $3,200 a month, so if you're going to pay $1,600 a month, that's going to be almost half your income going towards this car, and that wouldn't be smart just to save on the interest. You don't have a lot of money down, so you can't get into a cash car. It's just very limited. So a lot of people, I like the fact that a lot of people come to me to try to get some advice, and unfortunately, it's just sometimes it is what it is, and there's nothing that I can do.
This was the first purchase.
Yeah. So again, in a word of the wise, is just next time you try to get into a
Destroying y'all lives. People be destroying their lives before it even gets started. She wanted that Kia. She didn't even know what was going on with Kias. And this is what I mean. We've just been socially engineered to want to get these cars and want to ruin our lives for them. She was, you're not even clearly interested in cars, man. So why did you need this new Kia and whatever? You don't even, people just feel like they have to have it because we've been socially programmed to feel like we have to have the newest car, even at the expense of our future. You don't even like cars, man. You want me to tell you how I know she don't like cars? Because she bought a Kia. She didn't even know all this stuff was going on with Kias. That's how you know you don't even really care for cars like that. So why you couldn't just get something that could get you from point A to point B while you continue to build yourself up both in credit and ultimately just in finances?
car, just try to do an insurance quote before you buy the car, and then really assess your credit situation, because it's going to be really hard to get out of this vehicle, unfortunately.
Right. Okay.
So I know it's not news you want to hear. I get it all the time. You know, I
She
have
ain't
a
gonna be able to get
dealership.
out
I
of it.
sell cars. I finance. You know,
Dang,
I'm
she's
the
stuck in
finance
it
guy here,
with
so
a
I see
high
it all the
interest
time with
rate.
different credit profiles. If you had like a 650, 60 credit score, I could possibly see like refinance your name or get into a lease deal to kind of just hit the reset button. But right now, until your credit gets up, you know, you're
Yeah.
pretty much stuck.
I mean, it's not all that bad.
Ma'am, stop while you're ahead. Imagine you buy a car full price. Imagine you buy a car full price just for it to be worthless because of something going on with how they manufactured it. I'm gonna be honest. People should really be able to get their money back once this Kia Boys thing came out. But I'm sure that paperwork is ironclad when you sign it. Anything extra after the fact, we're not responsible. They would have to bring in federal regulations in order to solve that and overwrite that paperwork. But imagine you buy a car. Let's say she paid $40,000 for the car. You pay the full price. She probably didn't negotiate. She didn't have no negotiating leverage with that credit score. Just to come out into the market and nobody wants to even touch your car with a 10-foot pole because they can't get insured. They have a bad reputation. And then now, because of that reputation, even if it can get insured or whatever, the reputation has gone so far and the stigma's gone so far that he would still even just have a hard time selling your car to a customer because of the reputation. And then he wouldn't really have much negotiating leverage because they can just be like, man, you ain't going to be able to sell this car. Insurance companies don't want to insure them. People ain't really trying to buy them no more after that debacle. Ain't that something? She really effed up big time.
Jules, what are you currently driving and what is your monthly payment?
2026 Escalade. My monthly payment is 2,600.
Nice. What are you driving and what is your monthly payment?
Without judging, I really sat down and tried to understand how exactly or why exactly somebody would be paying $2,600 for a car payment. And the only thing I could think of, y'all can help me out if I'm wrong or you can see another way around it, is one, they got 0% interest and they're paying $2,600 to finish paying it off in a certain amount of time.
No,
So
he's got to
maybe
escalate.
0%
It's
interest if they
20. It's
finish paying it in
2,600.
48 months or something, right? Which would be like 124K or somewhere near there. I'm not too sure because
No,
I
it's
live
just
in one of the most expensive cities.
the car is very expensive. He got a 2026 Escalade, and it seems like he has a regular job. He might be a manager at a dealership. You ain't making that type of money. And again, we're paying for this with our net income. You could make 200,000 net. You're probably gonna bring home 140, and then now you're paying for this out of that money. So how are you gonna really be able to build something? But really, the rule of thumb, ideally, is you want your assets or your business or whatever to pay for these type of things, especially when it gets this extreme. Especially when it gets this extreme. For example, okay, you want to have an Escalade, you just need it so bad. Maybe you need to go buy some real assets, some real estate properties, rent them out. Hopefully you can buy them in full. Or if you just want to cash flow it, you need to get enough properties to where it could pay for that. That's the rule of thumb. If you're really trying to get ahead and you're really trying to do things, move and shake. But that's not feasible for most people, especially at the stage they're in. And it can never become feasible and they can never grow into the stage because while they're in the process, when they should be trying to get ahead and set themselves up, they're basically sabotaging themselves before they can even get started because it's like you start making some good money and the first thing you feel like you need to go do is get a 2026 Escalade so that because you've been programmed to think that way so that you can basically display that for other people to see. People got to start thinking accurately. The accurate facts is you just need a car that's going to get you to your job so that you can make that money, so that you can set yourself up financially, so that you can have more options, more mobilities, which would then lead to more opportunities. And then you'll be able to thrive and ultimately have freedom. You'll have freedom, i.e. options, like I said. And then once you have freedom, you can make even bigger moves, and eventually you can get yourself to the point to, like I said, you can be so abundant that the moves that you make strategically to invest long term can actually feed back into how you live right now. But people, again, people cannot think past this programming that's been put on us. You need to think past this program, and you need to get back in your body. You need to get back in your mind. You need to really think about what you're doing, and don't put these self-inflicted wounds on yourself when you really have opportunities to be able to ultimately set you and your family up for the future. Y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video. Hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been more than 7 days. And hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice, if you want to hype, to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And also, if you want to become a member of the channel as well, join buttons on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get badges next to your comments, where it would show people that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you would get early access to content and also exclusive content that's not available for everyone else on YouTube. So again, if you want to become a member, the join button's on the video. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.